Hey guys, it's Becky. Thank you for tuning into my channel. Today I'll be showing you how to make a plaster face mold. The supplies you'll need for this project will be plaster wrap, Vaseline, liquid latex, a bald cap, water, plaster mix, a large bowl, and scissors. I'm going to start by making sure all of my hair is tied back and then putting Vaseline all in my hairline to make sure none of the liquid latex gets in my hair. Now for putting on the bald cap, I'm going to fit it for size and then put liquid latex around my hairline to adhere the bald cap. Making sure to get the liquid latex down past my ears so my ears are nice and protected. Let the latex get tacky before sticking the bald cap on, then hold it into place until it's dry. Very carefully trim to the latex line around your face, removing any excess bald cap. Then put a thin layer of latex around the edge of the bald cap, making sure it will stay in place and getting rid of any lines that may show up in your mold. Because my bald cap did not cover as much as I would like it to, I removed an unnecessary part of the bald cap from the back and covered my exposed ear, making sure that my ear is nice and protected from the plaster. After my bald cap was in place, I cleaned my face with some witch hazel and let it dry. Then took my Vaseline and put into my eyebrows and eyelashes to make sure that they would not get pulled out when I took my mask off, covering the rest of my face and neck with the Vaseline to make sure the mask would come off with ease. Then taking pre-cut strips of plaster wrap, I dipped them into water, then placed them where I wanted my mask to go, keeping in mind that I can only fill my mask up 3/4 of the way with plaster. So if you want your mask to only cover your face, then you'll need to extend that past where you want it to go by a couple of inches. Be sure to have a paper towel on hand to make sure you do not get any plaster water dripping into your eye. Smaller strips will help you define your nose area, taking extra precaution not to close off your nostrils and airway. I took a disposable lipstick applicator to help define my nose, lips, and eye sockets. You'll need help with this next part. Have a friend help cover your eye sockets with plaster strips, pushing firmly but not too hard, just enough to take the shape of your eye sockets. Put 4 or 5 strips on each eye socket, making sure to overlap the strips for stability. At this point, your mask should be almost dry, so be sure not to mess with it too much because it can begin to pull away from the face. After about 15 minutes, it's time to take the mask off. I breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth. I tug at the sides of my mask, and because I put the Vaseline on my face, it slides off pretty easily. Other than a little bit of plaster in my mouth, I think it turned out pretty great. And now I have a nice deep bowl to work with. I'll have to plug up any holes I find along with my nostrils to make sure the plaster does not leak out. After mixing up a thick batch of plaster, I take Vaseline and spread on the inside of my mask to make sure my mold will pop out easily. Working very quickly, I get a basket full of towels to place my mask in that will support the weight of the plaster as I pour it into the mask. Gently tap the basket on the counter, allowing any air bubbles to rise to the top. As you can see, the plaster has already begun to set, but it will need to sit here overnight to make sure it has fully cured. Gently pull the mask off of your mold. It should pop out easily because you covered your mask in Vaseline. I sanded my mold down with a low-grade sandpaper. I took some household items such as a fingernail file, the end of a paintbrush, and even a baby spoon to help carve out blemishes around the eyes, nose, and mouth. I then took Mod Podge I bought at Michael's in thin layers to act as a shiny protective coat against my prosthetics. And that's it. That is how I DIY'd my very own face mold. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you haven't already, be sure and subscribe to my channel.